Hi, welcome to the first weekly press conference with Coach Dr. Alvin Parker for the VUU football season. Coach, you're coming off a great big win up in Canton, Ohio, 45-3 over Miles College in the HBC Historically Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic. Give us your thoughts on the game.
I was proud of the guys. Coming out of camp, we were really trying to figure out the type of team this is going to be. I knew we were going to be a good team, but still was kind of searching for what we thought our identity would be. Kind of figured that out in week 0. So it was a great trip to Canton. I thought the guys enjoyed themselves. We got to do a lot of things, tour the hall, see a portion of the world that a lot of these guys have never seen. So I was happy for that. So it was a great trip. We're right back at it this week.
You're now ranked number 5 in the nation by Flow Sports among Division II. How big does that ranking mean to your program?
It's always good to be recognized, by anybody. I think they, all the people, all of, the different versions of all the rankings have kind of came in, and I think the guys relish in that. Sometimes it's kind of good to look at, but you don't want to kind of get lost in it, So I'm happy for that, the notoriety that we're getting as far as the program goes. But I want to make sure we kind of keep our eyes on the prize as well.
All right, we'll open the floor up now for questions. Please state your name and your affiliation and your questions for Dr. Parker.
Okay, Donald Ware with Box Row. What's going on, Dr. Parker?
Thank you for joining.
Of course. How do you? I mean, I know it's one game, but I guess if you look at the totality from spring to now, how do you compare this team, this version of this team, to last year's team?
They're similar in a lot of ways. I think we have a way we do things here as a program. So everybody buys into that. So it always gonna make the program seem a little same year in year out. But you got a few different faces. We're relying on a few more younger guys than we probably have ever done since I've been here. A few more newer guys than we probably have ever done since I've been here. So that's one thing, trying to put it all together. But some of those guys kind of came to us in January when that first portal window opened up. So, they kind of know what it is, and you kind of can see some of the things. And those guys seems like they've been here for kind of forever, although they've only been here since January. So, I'm still learning a lot about this team, but I'm liking everything that I'm learning.
So you made it to the quarterfinals of what was it, the quarters of the semis last year.
Yep.
Of the playoffs. Is this that kind of team? Do you feel like this could be that kind of team?
A lot of things got to fall in place, when you get those kind of teams. I think, we had a good team, the last couple years when we made the playoffs. But, it's about a lot of things, staying healthy, right place, right time type of things, And I think, they definitely had the talent to be there, but some things got to fall in place. You got to win a bunch of games before you even kind of get to that point. But and then you'll kind of see your makeup, but I feel good about this team overall. They do a lot of good things well. They're attentive. They're locked in a whole lot. That's one thing I can really say about this team. Meetings, practice, walkthroughs, everything. Them guys are locked in bunch. So that's one thing I can say I like about them. That's kind of falling into their identity.
And then the last two thoughts, Curtis Allen. Can you talk about him? He's been around, right? So now I guess looks like it's his time to shine.
Yeah, I mean, he did it on a huge stage this past Sunday. Extremely proud of him. It's kind of different because I know his capabilities. I know what he can do. I know what he can get done. In the world of seeing it, kind of get done. I think in our playoff game when we went down with North Ryan, I think he rushed for maybe about 150, 160 yards. So, we've seen it done before. So to kind of come and do it on the national stage and not a bunch of carries. We said he was going to be the bell cow, which we thought he was going to kind of get bulk of the carries, but I think he did all of that. What he did on Sunday on around 15 or so carries. So he's a special one. So everybody's going to know that name by the end of the season, Curtis Allen.
And then last thought. So you mentioned the rankings and liking to be recognized, but as you mentioned, not allowing or letting the players know not to get kind of caught up in that. Sort of in the same vein, I mean, you beat the SIAC champs by, beat them pretty good. Do you you kind of talk to them, maybe about that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this isn't exactly the same team as last year for Miles because they have a new head football coach.
Yeah, and like I told everybody, them guys are still champs. So you go in there and you beat another champion, so that's something to feel good about. But when you talk about the rankings and all of that, I kind of told the guys on on Monday at our first meeting after we got back. I say, everything, all of that, guys, is well and it's good, but it's kind of like perfume. It's good to smell and it's bad to drink. You know, so smell it all day, take it in, but don't you drink it, you're gonna get sick. So I kind of tell the guys that, so and I, hopefully they understand it. So it's kind of one of those. That's the best synopsis I can kind of give for it. So but we take it in and we gonna smell it, Donald, like I said, but we ain't gonna drink it.
Gotcha. All right, appreciate it. Good win. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach. Lane Castellante from CBS 6. I'm totally
Lane.
stealing that fume line, just so you know. 400 yards on the ground against Miles, and you lose a player like Jada, and, maybe people that don't pay as much attention to your program, that might have raised some eyebrows, but is that the identity you want your program to have, regardless of who RB1 is? You guys want to be able to run the ball and run it effectively.
I think good things happen when you can run the ball. I was kind of raised on that. I played for Coach Bailey when I don't know when or how much the ball seen in the air. So I was kind of raised on that. But we have a bunch of talented receivers too who have to get involved in the game. But we've kind of been relying on the run game because we've been so good at it. So again, it's something that I feel good if you can run the ball and you can play solid defense. You're gonna give yourself a lot of chances to win. And a lot of times that's been our recipe here. So. We can do everything else, though. We can throw the ball, we can play great special teams and all of that. But I think, relying on that run game like we've done have gotten us a few places that, Virginia Union has never been to.
How much will each individual opponent dictate how much you rely on one aspect of your offense or the other?
I mean, I think that's where the coaching kind of comes into play. Our coaches do a great job of making sure that these guys are prepared. So we'll take it week by week, Lane, and just make sure that we keep these guys in position to win ball games. At any and all costs, no matter what we have to do. We know everybody's going to shoot for us and give us their best. I was glad we were able to open up with an opponent like Miles, who does have championship pedigree. So our guys can prepare at a certain level. So I think they know what the expectations are, and they're willing to try to reach those every week.
And what are the changes in competition going from Miles to Edward Waters? Another road game, but what do you know about? I believe it's EWU down in Jacksonville. What do you know about them, and how different might they be from the challenge that Miles gave you?
Well, that's a great question, Lane. And we'll get a chance to see because Edward Waters plays Miles this week. So, we know, what Miles is, kind of all about, and get to see them against them will kind of help us in our homework. So, we're going to focus on that game a little bit when it comes up this weekend, but, we took a good amount of practice time and everything to focus on the opponent this week, the bye, so to make sure we can take advantage of that. We're not, banged up by any means, but I think these guys had a long, grueling camp. And like I said, they've been locked in, so to kind of get a breath of fresh air. Some of that this weekend, we're not having a direct opponent to prepare for. It's been something that's been pretty good for us. But, we got our eyes on them. We've been looking at them. They won a ball game last week by a good margin against Savannah State. So we know they're an extremely capable ball club that can kind of get it done. So, we're taking these extra days to prepare, and we'll jump full throttle, next week to make sure we're in position to win a ball game again.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck next week.
Thanks.
All right, I see a hand raised. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how you doing? This is Steven Gaither from HBCU Game Day.
Appreciate you joining.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm on the road and running some errands, but I definitely wanted to tap in. I'll just ask you, you're talking about the bye week. I know this is something new for Division II and CIAA teams with the addition of Week 0 that you just played in. But as you say, it is kind of, it's I guess, but as you guys go forward and get more into this planning, do you kind of wish that this would kind of be a little bit later, or you guys, was this the only week that you guys really had leeway with the way the conference schedule was already laid out?
Yeah, that's
and the strategy.
that definitely was kind of, one of the things kind of going in. It was kind of really the only leeway that we really had, to kind of make it happen. When we got selected, well, kind of earned that, that game in Canton, we knew we were going to have to play in week 0, so it didn't give a lot of space to have the bye week, so, and it comes at a good time, I think, if it came right in the middle of the season, I probably would have wanted something else. If it came at the end of the season, I probably would have wanted something else, and sometimes as coaches, we could be a little bit more picky, but I think it's falling at the right time, we want to make sure we win against bye this week, though, but in terms of how we prepare and how we getting things, in order for next week's game, and I think we've stacked a couple good days this week, and the guys are focused, and, they're focused as if we have a game this week, so I like that. So, like I said, the bye's coming at the right time.
Appreciate it. Well, good luck against the bye this week, and we'll see you next week.
Appreciate it.
Are there any other questions for Coach Parker? All right, Coach. Well, thanks for being here. Thank you, everybody, for logging on.